welcome back to Vlogmas, which is where I post a video every day for the 12 days leading up to Christmas. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about everyday life with a central line. And if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, hello, my name is Haley and I make content all about life with my chronic illnesses. And like I said, today's video is going to be all about everyday life with a central line. And I have had some form of a central line for almost 7 years, and next month, which is January, will be 7 years exactly from my first ever central line, which is just crazy. It's crazy, but through those 7 years, I have learned a lot of tips and tricks on how to navigate life with a central line and how to still have a quality life, but also adapt to the challenges a central line brings. And with that said, I'm just gonna head straight into the video. So I just realized a huge chunk of the video was completely out of focus, so I apologize if any part of this video has been out of focus, but I am now going to start with the first section of this video, which is going over what a dressing change looks like for me, because I am literally allergic to everything in a dressing change kit, and I'm going to go through what is in a dressing change kit my nursing company provides and what I use in its place. And then there are 2 tips/tricks that I will show you after I'm done. So first and foremost, the first thing in this kit is a Tegaderm dressing, and this is the dressing, that goes over the site for the whole week, and I am allergic to this. It makes my skin blister. So in its place, I use what's called an IV 3000. It is hypoallergenic, and this is what it looks like. My camera doesn't want to focus, I don't think, but yeah, that's what one looks like, and it is completely clear. So this is what it looks like on, and that is what I use as a dressing. And then the next thing in here, which you can't really see, and I'm not going to waste a sterile kit, is what's called ChloraPrep. It's also known as chlorhexidine. It is the most commonly used cleaner for a dressing change site, and this is the thing that gives me the biggest issues in a dressing change. I am very allergic to chlorhexidine. Not only does my skin blister, but my skin will get really, really, really raw, to the point where the first layer of skin is gone, that kind of raw. It is very painful, it burns, it is not fun. As soon as I stopped using chlorhexidine or ChloraPrep, a lot of skin issues I was having in regards to my site went away. A lot of finding these things out was a process of elimination. So I think we changed the dressing first, and then I was still having skin issues. Then we changed the cleaner, still had some skin issues, and then I stopped using skin prep. That's something they use sometimes when changing your dressing to make the dressing stick on better. I do not use that. I also do not use dressing remover wipes. Also, I cannot handle any alcohol on my site, so any alcohol swab sticks, even though on the rest of my body, for my hand or something, they're completely fine. When it comes to a dressing change site, it is not okay, and it feels like it burns. Also in here is something called a bio patch, and it's this little disc that goes around your insertion site where the line comes out of the skin. And for me, I'm allergic to that too, because it is soaked in chlorhexidine, so it will make my site really irritated. So in its place, I will use something called a Silverlawn, which is based and made with silver, I guess. I don't quite know. I know this is not something that every nursing company has or every hospital has. It's very dependent on your nursing company or hospital. So, and a lot of places don't have any hypoallergenic substitutes for a bio patch. So I have seen it where people go without any sort of disc around their insertion site. But for me, if I am ever unable to, if I don't have this and I'm just had a dressing change, to help relieve some of that pressure from my line being pulled down, what I will put in its place is a piece of sterile gauze to kind of cushion the insertion site. So that's what I use, and that's what I would recommend. Otherwise, I don't know what else to use, but yes, this is what I use. And I just realized I breezed through the cleaner and didn't tell you what I use in its place. So in chlorhexadine's place, I will use betadine. And yes, if you are familiar with betadine, yes, it is orange and obnoxious, and we call it my Oompa Loompa stain every time I get a dressing change, but it is so worth it because I do not have any issues with this at all. And there is a tip to reduce the betadine gunk, because if you have ever used betadine before, whether it be betadine swab sticks or the liquid betadine, you know that there is gunk that comes from betadine, and also it can be really orange. So I want you to pay attention closely to what I'm saying, but also know that this is not an official recommendation on what to do. This is not medical advice. This is just what I personally do, and I have been fine. This has not caused any issues with me in terms of infection or bacteria, but this is what I do, and this is a very loose run through. What we will do is, we clean, make sure the insertion site is really clean and the area around it. We will take a piece of gauze and put some sterile saline on it, make sure it's wet and it's sterile. We will avoid the spot where the line comes out of the skin, but around this whole perimeter, we will take a piece of gauze with saline, and in one swoop, we will just do a big swoop, and that big swoop gets rid of betadine gunk. It helps decrease the intensity of the orange stain, and I have noticed it helps the dressing stay on longer and easier, and it doesn't provide any issues, and it looks a little bit better. So there's my trick for that. And then if you do use IV3000, sometimes it can be kind of finicky, and where your line comes out of your dressing, it might pull, and it might pull up the dressing. So this is what you do. You will get a piece of IV3000. It does not need to be sterile in this scenario. Sterilize your scissors just to be safe. You're going to cut this IV3000 in half, and you're basically going to cut a U. And we're going to pretend this is right at my site. This is part of my line because I'm connected right now. And you're just going to do this and stick it like that so that it supports. Hopefully I am portraying that correctly, but that is how I reinforce my IV3000 and keep the dressing from coming up. So that is what I do, and we do try to coil up my line as much as possible under my dressing, but my line's a long one and doesn't always stay under the dressing every week, so I end up usually just doing this with my shirt. So that is everything I use for a dressing change. And moving into clothing, am I limited in clothing with this interline? And the answer is no, I am not at all in any capacity. There are shirts and tops that are definitely more comfortable and more realistic for when I'm infusing, but when it comes to me not infusing my IV fluids, I wear basically whatever I want. Like this sweater, like it's not a v-neck, it's just a normal sweater, and I just have my line hang out like that when I'm connected. But when I am infusing or doing a dressing change, it can be easier to be wearing a v-neck. So during a dressing change, I will wear a v-neck shirt. That way I have full access to my dressing site, but I don't limit myself in clothes. In the beginning of my central line journey, for the first couple of years, I definitely was very self-conscious if anyone saw anything, whether that be the scar of where my port was, whether that be seeing me access, seeing a needle in my port when I had one, or just seeing my line, anything. I used to be very self-conscious and feel very weird about it, and I would definitely try my best to cover it with whatever I was wearing or cover it with my hair. And now I just don't care because it is an extension of me, and it's not something I love about myself, but it's something I'm neutral about because it's medically necessary. It is a tool that helps keep me stay alive and stay out of the hospital. And for better or for worse, I don't really have a choice of whether or not I can have it or not right now, so I just accept it for what it is. For formal events, I do tend to like to cover it just because there are times I feel like it is an eyesore in photos, if I'm being totally honest, but it's not so much a confidence issue. It's just I don't want to always have that visual reminder in photos looking back, but I really don't limit myself in clothes, and I really don't care anymore. I forget it's there a lot of times, and it's something I'm neutral about. I'm not overly positive, but I'm not negative about it, if that makes sense. And now I'm going to share what I use to carry my IV fluids. So I am on TPN every night, which is liquid nutrition, which is like a 1200 ml bag. And then I'm also on IV fluids, and then throughout the week I'll do infusions as well. So for smaller infusions, for a small IV bag, if I'm connected for like a smaller amount of time, if it's not overnight, what I will use is this little backpack I got from Target. Super cute, love it. It's really cute, and I actually use this as my purse even when I'm not infusing. And it is not a specially made bag or backpack for an infusion. This is what I will do, is I will put the pump and the bag in my backpack. I will have a line right out of this, like as far down as it can go on the side, and then I will just zip it as much as possible, and I will wear this on my back or carry it, and I just make sure to keep it upright. And this is what I use. It's super cute, super low profile, and this is what I travel with and use if I am doing an infusion during the daytime when I'm out and about. Super cute. I love it. And for overnight, like when I'm infusing my TPN, because I infuse it overnight over 12 hours, let's see if I can get this even over here. But I use a rolling backpack, and I have always used the brand J World New York. I get them off of Amazon, and they last a really long time. This is my third backpack in like 7 years, so they last a really long time, and it's cute because you can choose your own pattern. It's really easy to take when you're traveling, whether that be traveling by plane, traveling in an RV, traveling in a car, traveling by train, traveling in a wheelchair. This easily goes on the back of a wheelchair like it does mine. And like I said, it's super cute. You can get a rolling backpack basically anywhere, and it's way easier than an IV pole, especially if there's carpet. It's easy to take places, and I love it. Definitely recommend a rolling backpack to anyone and everyone who infuses IV fluids, but you can't physically hold a bag, or it's just heavy and hard to. Rolling backpack is where it's at, and then a mini cute backpack like this is also where it's at for the smaller infusions. Because just because you may have this life doesn't mean you cannot be cute. Those are all my tips and tricks. I definitely have more up my sleeve, but that is what I will leave you with for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely hit that subscribe button and like this video so more people will be able to see this. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.